Hello. I want to make a video on something that I find interesting because I want to talk about it. Also, I have a septum piercing. That's new. Anyway, I want to talk about something that I find important that I haven't talked about before, but I've seen a video on it by someone else, so I know that it's not just me. And that's the idea that you can have like nostalgia for like a time in your life that was definitely worse. So yeah. The video I've seen about it was a video by Herbs and Altars. Dorian, their name is Dorian, and they made a video about it probably years ago at this point. I don't really watch their content anymore, so I don't know if their video is still up. But it was a video about having nostalgia to your eating disorder, and I don't have a past with eating disorders, at least not like full-blown eating disorders. I've had disordered eating in the sense that I've been a binge eater, but I've always been a binge eater that hasn't stopped. But it's never been like a full-blown binge eating disorder or a bulimia kind of disorder. So that video really spoke to me in a way that like it spoke to my experience with like other like addiction type of behaviors and other like behaviors that I've used to inhibit that I don't necessarily inhibit nowadays. And I want to kind of talk about that because like nostalgia to your like past addiction basically feels weird and wrong because for a lot of us we know that it's stupid, right? Well, stupid, we know that it's like not realistic because we know how miserable we used to be, but still, it can feel really like overpowering to kind of feel that way. So maybe this video is also like partially to like break that kind of stigma around it, because it's just a real feeling that you can experience. And I'll like if I can find the video still, I'll link it below that Dorian made, because he made a video about it that I largely agree with still. So yeah. Anyway, for this video, I will be talking about like alcohol and like self-harm and like other kind of like I mentioned eating disorders. I'll mention like quite a few like serious issues that are related to addiction. So if that's something that triggers you, then this is not the video for you. I suggest you watch something else for now. But this video is about how I am sometimes quite nostalgic to the times where I'd have a drinking problem, right? And I'm not nostalgic to the time where I would like drink on my own and it was kind of like depressing, but I have nostalgia to the type of drinking problem that I used to have when I drank with my friends a lot, because it's kind of like nostalgia for me being older. Like it's nostalgia to me being a teenager, and when I was a teenager I was kind of fucked up, right? And I have nostalgia to the time where I was kind of careless about substances, and I was careless around like my binge eating, and I was careless around self-harm. Like I wasn't like I obviously experienced quite a lot of shame and disgust sometimes even towards myself about it, especially self-harm and binge eating. But especially with alcohol, I didn't really experience it because my friends and were very much in an alcohol kind of culture and like drugs culture, so I always felt like I was more innocent than most of my friends, which is why me having an alcohol problem never really stood out that much. So yeah, that was that. My friends and I would go on holidays and stuff and drink and have fun, and like some of them would make out, and it was like kind of like being an older teenager, kind of starting to experiment with things like sexuality and like we'll talk about these big feelings that we were having, especially when I was around 16, 17. I'd be talking to one of my friends a lot about like my mental health issues, because I just that was kind of bonding for me. Like we would just talk about like My Chemical Romance and like these bands that I really enjoyed, And like there were some of my friends who I really bonded with when we were drunk, who would just talk about like mental health shit for hours. And like it wasn't necessarily very healthy, but it was very fun in a way. And like I kind of miss that in a way. Like I miss some of the elements of that. I wanted to do that kind of thing, but in a more healthy way nowadays. It was also the start of like me being able to be open about my gender identity, so that was cool. Right? I kind of feel disappointed that I haven't like taken any steps to transition, because I think that like 16-year-old me would be very disappointed about that. That's 6 years ago. Fuck. I'm old. Right. Anyway, so like I feel like, oh man, if I was 18 and it came out then, I would have been able to be I don't want to think about that. Even when I was 18, I like actually gotten on any like lists, I would have been able to transition by now. That's depressing. Anyway, so like what I was talking about was when I was that age, I was really interested in like alcohol specifically, and I was also trying to do other drugs. So I tried to dabble into weed. Weed is not for me. Weed is not for me. Weed is not for me. Like I've tried a few times, and even some of those times were actually kind of fun, but then I had like a really bad experience once, and ever since then, every single experience I've had with weed was just really bad. So I'm never doing that again. I'm sober now anyway, but you know, even if I wasn't, I would never do weed again, because it's just not my experience. It's not good for me. I know other people have different experiences with weed, even other people that are neurodivergent like me, but it's just not for me. It's just not for me. I wanted to do like Molly at some point, but then I got a partner, and she said she would break up with me if I did drugs. So I didn't. Sometimes I worry I'm like that, because I have issues with my partner doing drugs sometimes. But I am very much not like that. Like, I would not break up with someone over doing drugs, just if I am clear about them not wanting to do it around me, and they do it anyway. That sucks. But otherwise than that, it's none of my business. Anyway, you know, I was gonna say something about, nostalgia around these things. So I've been very nostalgic about, like, these kind of parties that I used to have, right? These parties where we would drink a bunch and we'd talk a bunch, and it was really fucking wild and crazy, right? And we would talk, like, it was like a lot of social experience that I didn't used to have when I was sober, because I was never very good at with social, bruh, my mouth does not want to work today. Because I wasn't very good at socializing at all when I was sober. Because, autism. You know? But when I was drunk, though, I was able to socialize. And good. I was able to socialize good. Because I was, like, not as concerned about how I was coming across. And I have a lot of, like, anxiety around, like, how I come across because I am autistic. You know, and I've been like, I have bad experiences in the past about people thinking I'm weird or whatever for things I didn't realize were weird. So, like, when I was drunk, I wouldn't care about these things as much. And I would have so much social experience and, like, social outlet and, like, fun that I wasn't able to have when I was sober. And that's the kind of shit I've been really missing in my life right now, because I'm still autistic. I'm still very worried about these things, but I don't drink anymore because I thought I had to get sober for my own, well-being. And I really miss having those kind of parties and that kind of fun. And it really sucks that I'm not able to do that when I'm sober, because I'm just not. I'm not able to handle, like, the sensory input of a party when I'm sober, and I'm not able to handle, like, the amount of social energy it takes me to do that kind of thing sober. So I don't get to have that kind of fun anymore. And that really sucks. That really fucking sucks. And that's something I'm really, like, nostalgic about, because I want to have that experience again. And I might, you know, at some point, if I feel confident enough about my ability to, like, control my substance intake. I don't feel confident about that at all right now. So I don't expect to drink at all in a while. Like, I am on 10 months now, and I expect I won't be able to go to such a party before the end of the year. I don't want to be able to drink. I think that if I drink any time before like February 14th of 2024, it's a bad idea. I used to have that date in a few months because I thought a year would be enough, and to be honest, I don't think so. I don't think a year is enough. I don't want to. So I am not going to risk it. I don't want to risk having a relapse at all, you know? And I don't feel confident that drinking would not cause relapse. So I won't. But it's something I'm nostalgic about. I'm nostalgic even about like my drinking issues. I'm nostalgic about the time. I said I wasn't really nostalgic about the time that I drank alone. I low-key am. I'm nostalgic about the times where I would just like sit in my house, make myself a cocktail every day. It was fun. It was very expensive, but it was fun. And now I have to be sober. You know? I don't want to be sober. I'm boring now. It's hard. It's hard. And I don't want this to be the video where I'm like, actually drink, it's good for you. Because I think that like, if anything, this is a video for people that feel that way, feel like the nostalgia way. And I want you to know that like, it makes sense to feel that way. Because your alcohol use was good for something, right? Or your like drug use was good for something. You're coping with something. But don't give up. Because there's gonna be a time where things are better. You're either able to enjoy things in a much more healthy way, or you're able to do the similar things without doing any type of drug. Because, you know, there's going to be ways where you can fulfill those certain needs in a different way. It just takes a while to figure that out. And I'm saying that to myself too, because like, it's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine being happy, but sober. It's really hard to imagine, god damn it. And I don't actually want to, like, truly, and that's also slightly the addiction speaking, where I'm like, I don't actually want to be sober. Of course I don't want to be sober, god damn it, I'm an addict. But I have to, for the exact same reason. So yeah, that's this video. It's long and rambly. Bye.